2013 was a pretty epic year in terms of hypercars. That is when the McLaren P1, Ferrari, and Porsche 918 all were released. It already feels like kind of a long time ago. But these cars are coming up on 10 years of age, and that's also the estimated lifespan of their lithium-ion battery packs. If you remember, all three of those cars are hybrids, combining a potent gasoline engine with torque-filling electric motors. This is the engineering wizardry that allowed all three of them to be capable of some of the fastest acceleration and lap times that we had ever seen at the time. So what happens when the battery in your hypercar needs to be replaced, and how much does it cost? Now, I'm not talking about the starter battery here, I'm talking about the hybrid battery. Well, let's just say it's a lot of money, like really, really a lot of money. Like the cost of a new Porsche GT3 money. Obviously, this is not like just running out to AutoZone and buying a new battery for your normal car. And for comparison, let me give you some figures on what a replacement battery for a Tesla Model S costs, as well as a Toyota Prius. According to my research, a replacement Tesla battery is going to cost you around $13,000 to $20,000. And even after 200,000 miles, they still supposedly have roughly 80 to 90% of their capacity. And with normal driving, 200,000 miles is about 14 years. And even then, you still don't really need to replace the battery yet. The Prius battery is much smaller and much simpler, typically costing around $1,500 US, and even with installation, it might be up to around $3,000. So how much could a replacement battery for a LaFerrari cost? Well, it's $203,000 according to the parts catalog. And that doesn't even include the installation, which I'd venture to guess is another $20,000 to $30,000 in labor. And the worst part, the lifespan on the battery is roughly 10 years, but it can be lower if you let the car sit and you don't drive it, which actually is pretty common on a car like the LaFerrari. Ferrari owners claim that Maranello told them to never let the car sit around for more than 5 days, and to not let the battery sit discharged, or else they risk ruining the low voltage battery and the KERS battery. The KERS battery is essentially the hybrid battery. But maybe the McLaren P1 is a little bit more reasonable in terms of the battery replacement costs, right? The battery itself in the P1 is plug and play, requiring only a vehicle level software update. All in all, the replacement takes about 14 hours at a McLaren dealer, and the battery is covered under a new 6-year warranty. It comes at a price though. P1 owners who want to upgrade or need to replace their battery pack are going to need to spend $156,000. That does include the fitment and the installation, but it's still just barely shy of the price of a new 911 GT3. I did happen to find it online for a little less at $112,000, but obviously that didn't include installation and was from a non-McLaren website. So yes, this is a little bit cheaper than the LaFerrari and it includes the installation, but it is still a ton of money. But luckily, Porsche is known for fairly reasonable servicing costs for all their vehicles. I mean, even a replacement front splitter on a GT3 is considered a consumable part and only costs a few $100s. And in the case of the 918 Spider, replacing the battery is a much more reasonable $45,538, if you can call that reasonable, which I'm not sure that you can. Of course, that doesn't include installation, so like the LaFerrari, let's assume another $20,000 or $30,000 in labor to install that new battery. But even if it costs you about $65,000, it is the bargain of the group. And the battery is estimated to last about 7 years. Now, of course, each of these cars currently sells on the used market for between $1.5 to $2.5 million, depending on the model, the miles, and the specs. So clearly, if you can afford one, then you can probably afford to replace the battery too. As always, thanks for watching.